Hello and welcome to Flipped IGCSE Biology, Unit B5, Transportation, Lesson 2, Transpiration and Translocation. Let's start off at looking at how water moves through the plant. You already know that plants get water from the soil. The water will then move in by osmosis to the root hair. Then it moves into the centre of the root towards the xylem and phloem, and these intermediate cells are called the root cortex cells. From there, it then moves into the xylem, up the stem, and into the leaf. Where in the leaf, it is in the mesophyll cells, and then it diffuses out of those cells and evaporates and goes into the air spaces in between the spongy mesophyll cells, and then through the stomata and out back to the air. Transpiration, very simply, is when the water evaporates and leaves the plant through the stomata. The technical definition from Cambridge is the evaporation of water at surfaces of the mesophyll cells, followed by loss of water vapour from plant leaves through the stomata. Transpiration is often visible. You will notice that sometimes if you're near a forest you can almost see the clouds forming, and these clouds come from the transpiration. So the trees and plants in the forest release the water vapour from their leaves, and this water vapour will form clouds. Here you can see a few examples from my holiday photos from Scotland and Tenerife. How do you think the following will affect the rate of transpiration? I want you to write this down. Put some ideas down. What do you think will happen with temperature? If temperature is higher, what will happen to rate of transpiration? What about wind? If it's a windy day, will there be more or less transpiration? Humidity. If it's more or less humid, if there's more or less water vapour in the atmosphere, will transpiration happen quicker or slower? And how about the number of stomata a plant has? Remember, transpiration very simply is just the evaporation of water from the leaves of a plant. Now you need to know why water moves up the stem. So what actually makes it go from the roots through the stem and out through the leaves? Remember, water moves in the xylem. The first reason why, or the first cause of water moving up through the stem, is that water molecules stick to each other. This you can see very clearly in this photo. This is an astronaut in space playing with water in space. Now the water molecules all stick together and form a large ball. This is called cohesion, and we say that water molecules are cohesive. They stick to each other. Now, here we've got a simple diagram of a plant. You can see the root bottom right, the xylem moving up the stem there, and the leaf at the top. Now, as transpiration happens, water molecules leave the leaf. Now, this means that the concentration of water, or the pressure of water inside the leaf, is lower. Therefore, water molecules will move up from the xylem into the leaf to replace the missing water. This occurs like a chain reaction, and the water will continue up the xylem towards the leaf. It is pulled by the other water molecules that move themselves. Then if you go right back down to the root, you can see that the concentration of water, or the pressure of the water inside the xylem, is now lower. Therefore, water molecules move into the xylem from the soil. Transpiration will lower the water concentration or pressure in the leaf, and this means that the water will be pulled up the stem. Last thing today is translocation. Now translocation, all it is movement of sucrose and or amino acids in the phloem. These substances are moved from where they're produced to where they are needed, or where they're going to be stored. The place where the substances are stored or needed is called the sink. And the sink may be a flower, for example, or it might be the roots, it might be a tuber like a potato, something like that, or it could be any part of the plant that is growing. So as you remember, movement of sucrose and amino acids happens in the phloem. And translocation may happen between any part of the plant where these substances are made, normally the leaves. The glucose is converted into sucrose or amino acids, and then this may be sent to any other part of the plant. Any part of the plant which is growing will need amino acids, as you know, protein is needed for growth. The amino acid molecules are joined together to form proteins to help new cells be made. And that is it. Here is the bibliography.